funny taste, but who's counting? Leading me today is the co-creator of Liar Comedy. He is also the creator and host of The Shit Show on YouTube and the podcast Everybody's a Comedian. And most importantly, he is an actual chef. Please welcome Chef Keith Graber. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. I am an actual chef. Like, a lot of people will say it like, he's a real chef. I'm a real person, first of all. And I actually work as a chef.
Chefs are people too.
And I have myself I don't know if it's any sort of, I wonder if there is a National Chef Day. I don't know, but there should be one. And I'm celebrating it now, just in case, with my Julia Child-size portion of wine. Hello!
The only way to cook. It's the only way to watch. Everybody go get yourself a glass of wine. I'm so excited to be led today. You are going to be teaching me how to make something. I've never been a master of polenta, and I've always wanted to learn to cook a good polenta dish. So you're going to teach me polenta.
I will teach you how to make the polenta. You're going to teach me how to cheat with the packaged tube from the supermarket, which, hey, no shame in the game. Like, get it done. You know, yeah, there's no shame in cheats. I do it sometimes at work. Don't tell my clients. But yeah, I can make polenta from scratch. And so can you. It's so easy.
So we're going to be showing two different versions of it today. We're going to have the cheat tube that you just buy at the Trader Joe's or supermarket of any kind. And then he's going to be showing it from scratch. So we are going to have two variations. So tell me what to do.
Well, I'll start off by saying the benefit of making your own polenta is A, it's actually pretty easy. And B, all right, I don't know, is Flavor Country trademarked? You're taking a ride through Flavor Country. You're adding flavor to it, you know, that the packaged stuff isn't there. But I will say this, let me preface it with the fact that polenta it's a starch. It's a lot like eating rice or something. So imagine you have a really flavorful stir fry with a sauce. You want white rice, you know. But if you were having some sort of rice as a main dish, you would want a lot of flavor in there, like when you make Spanish rice or something like that. So I'm going to jam some flavor into this polenta that you don't necessarily need. You can make polenta with water and salt, and then it'll get done. But this polenta will be accompanied. I can never say words when I'm actually on camera. This polenta will be accompanied by a red pepper pesto. So let's get started with my favorite part, which is just torching the shit out of these red peppers. Okay, this is the most fun step you're gonna do. All right, and this is not because I've already started drinking wine. By the way, this was a little bit more full. So we're going to take our red peppers. Now, what we want to do is we want to torch them, but we're also trying to cook them down and sort of make the flesh soft. Some people do this in the oven under the broiler. That's no fun. Plus, it's so easy to just do it on the stovetop. But you have to do it in the broiler if you don't have a gas stove. All right, so I guess, or on the grill, you can do it on the grill, but we're gonna do it right on the gas stove top. So we're gonna go over to the stove, turn on the gas all the way. There you go. So we're just gonna throw that right on the flame. And
okay. Set it like this? Just
yeah.
Here?
So the civilians out there, use your tongs, okay? You don't have chef hands. But yeah, you can see we got the flame going, and you'll see some discoloration almost immediately. And what we're looking for is all the skin to turn black and for the flesh to become softened.
So how large should the flames be?
As high as it can go.
Really?
Yeah, turn the flames all the way up. And then what we'll do is we'll keep on rotating these around. And what we're looking for is, like I said, it's charred skin and softened flesh. Okay, that sounded evil the way I said it. It's not what I meant. Okay.
This is Hannibal Lecter's recipe for roasted red pepper. Hey, you are a celebrity chef.
Well, okay. asterisk on that. I'm a chef to the celebrities, like how Michael Scott was, or no, how Dwight was the assistant
To the manager.
Yeah, to the manager. Yeah.
So how does one become a chef to the celebrities? What is the
Well,
where's the like application process, or what kind of like
there's a lot of
hazing do you have to go through?
There maybe is a little bit of hate. It's okay. So if you want to be, the easy way to do it is to sign up for a chef agency that actually staffs that. I'm signed up with a number of them. Don't tell any of them that I'm signed up with the other ones. And then also it's who you know. I mean, if you live in Los Angeles, it's hard not to know somebody who works for a celebrity, etc. And they sort of throw your name in the hat when, jobs come around. And, I used to own a catering company, so I would oftentimes cater for them and then maybe do smaller gigs as just a private chef afterwards. So.
Is this supposed to be like crackling and popping? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Crackling and popping is all part of the fun. You want the crackling and popping.
Okay, good.
This is like.
Not typically a noise I like is good in the kitchen,
This you almost can't do this wrong. Like if the pepper catches fire, that's when you've done it wrong. But the pepper has so much moisture in it that it almost can't catch fire. If you're just a home cook and you don't work in a kitchen professionally, this is the most fun you're gonna have cooking something for like, I don't know, especially if you also pour yourself a Julia Child-sized glass of wine. You might notice that Kate is very attentive to her peppers, and I completely forgot about mine in the background. Whatever.
That's just the calling sign of a true chef,
Yeah, this is free range parenting, people. This is what it looks like, okay? Kate's a helicopter parent. I'm a free range parent. Oh wait, I have kids? Shit.
I just want to make sure they're okay and nobody hurts them. I've never done this before. See, with baking, when I put like cookies that I've made 1,000 times in the oven, I don't set a timer. I just know when they're done. I can smell it and be like, oh, they're probably good by now. But if I've never done something before, especially if I'm on camera, I am a lot more attentive of a chef. I actually measure something when I'm on camera.
That's where we might be different, Kate, because I'm supposed to put the timer on. I always forget, but I ruin cookies because of like 30 seconds difference, all the time. Okay, so are you ready for the multitasking stage of this?
But I can't watch my precious peppers.
They'll be fine. It's like kids in a pool. Yeah, they'll be fine. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is make some garlic confit. Oh, you got the peeled garlic. Okay.
Yeah, you told me to.
Yes, I didn't know if Eddie's sous chef. I didn't know if they were gonna have. They don't always have it available.
So, Mister, you shouldn't use the packaged polenta because it doesn't have the flavors. Perfectly fine shucking out some garlic that's just pre-packaged and pre-done. I see where it is. I see the hypocrisies, chef. I see them.
So you want yourself a little saucepan like this, or something, manageably small. And then, so we're gonna put all of our garlic cloves into this pan. By the way,
the whole package?
Yeah, the whole pack.
Damn.
You're gonna thank me later. This is great. Let's check on our peppers. Ooh, we got a nice black spot.
Those chef hands. Just stick them in the fire.
All right, we're gonna move on to the garlic confit, which is French for confit. No, it's French for
confit.
With fat. It's garlic cooked in fat. And so we're gonna fill the pot up to the level of the garlic. Oh, that's bad for the shot. Hold on, there you go.
So just up to cover the garlic, basically?
Just to cover the garlic. In fact, you can be a little under and have some of the garlic poke out because the garlic will actually shrink a little bit in size.
How's that? Can you see?
See that for that camera?
Oh, there we go. We're about the same. I'm a little bit more, but
yeah,
perfect.
Now we're gonna turn the flame on, and we're gonna start out with a medium heat.
Okay.
And what you're looking for is for the garlic to start to sizzle and bubble.
Okay.
And then let's check on our peppers. We're getting soft flesh. We're getting charred, blackened flesh. This is like a Rob Zombie movie.
So I was going to ask you a question regarding the whole celebrity chef thing. I don't know if you are actually going to be able to answer this or how many NDAs you've signed in your life, but I was just wondering if you know, either through catering or anything, if you're aware of what is the most famous butthole to ever excrete your cooking.
Famous butthole that's not in an NDA. Okay.
Do you have some? Like, is there one right off the top of your head, but you can't say?
I have cooked for many a butthole, and I've signed NDAs for some of the buttholes. And some of the buttholes include NDAs, like there's different levels of NDAs, and some of them include like, you can't ever say that you cooked for me or I'll deny it, like, which was a little insulting. And then, so I've signed other NDAs that say, you can talk about whatever, but you can't talk about the, the privacy, the things you overhear us talking about.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I will
the
say
layout
that,
of the house. Like, draw you blueprint.
Yeah, exactly. Like the addresses, any kind of security details, or sensitive information regarding like the content of their shows or whatever, because it's production. That stuff depends on a lot of information, whatever. So I will say that I did cook for the Kardashians on their TV show.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, we were keeping up with them. I did a few dinner parties, and that was.
Were you on the show?
I think you might be able to catch me in the background on a couple episodes. I did see my skinny ass, I think, in one where they were having a dinner party at home. But the thing is, like, they have so much content that, like, good luck filtering through all that. Like, how long did they did the show for? Like 14 years or something, right?
Oh no, probably.
All right. I hear a sizzle. You hear that sizzle?
Yeah.
Are you sizzling? You have a thicker pot, by the way. So
a little bit.
It may take longer for you to get the sizzle than for me. You see that sizzle, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
you're really going. I'm just barely starting.
This is the point where we actually reduce the heat. And we're just going to go, I don't know if you can see that, but right there is the center. We're just going to go with a very small flame and let that finish out on that very small flame. So what's happening now is the garlic is sort of caramelizing. We're basically deep frying garlic in olive oil, which is delicious. I know.
That's terrible.
But we just want this to be like kind of a caramel color, and you'll have that like roasted garlic flavor at the end of all this. How are your peppers? Good?
They're pretty blackened.
Okay. I think
I'm finding very few little red spots on them now.
If they're blackened and they're soft, then we're ready to go into the bowl. And I think we are. Mine are about there. So a stainless steel bowl or whatever kind of bowl you have.
Okay. And I'm sizzling here with the garlic. So turn that down.
Reduce the heat to the lowest setting.
Lowest setting. Okay.
And we're just going to let that basically simmer. It's on a very low, the lowest simmer you can get.
Okay.
And then you can see my peppers are in the bowl. There's some red spots still, but for the most part. But we're going to do the last step, which actually helps cook everything through. We're going to put them in the bowl and we're going to cover it with plastic.
Here, and plastic wrap?
Plastic wrap right over it, even though it's hot and steamy. That's what we want.
Okay.
We're creating a red pepper sauna is what we're doing.
So does that mean that you've watched multiple episodes and seasons of the Kardashians?
I tried to find my stuff, but it's...
but you got hooked, and now you just have to keep up with everything that's going on.
Let's say yes. No, what happened was I couldn't find it within 5 minutes, and I was disgusted with myself, so I quit. But sorry, Kim. Love your work, guys. Okay, so the next step is to start the polenta, get the polenta groove going. Now, for the people at home, this might be like the polenta, it takes a little bit of time. So this might not be the right, chronological order of things. So just so you know. But we're doing this for TV. It's the magic of TV. I'm imagining you're going to put a rainbow in my hands in post.
I can do that. I can
Okay.
absolutely do that.
The magic of TV, and then stars shooting off, and then there's little like cupids and stuff shooting at me.
I can't just keep piling them on. I can do it.
Have at it, post-production team. I don't know who does this for you. I guess it's your own intern too, huh?
Exactly. Yeah.
I get it. Okay, so polenta. Let's talk polenta. You ready?
Ready.
So you have your tube, okay? Your delicious tube of polenta, right?
Yeah.
What I have is polenta. They call it corn grits, but you can also use. This isn't the same, but in a pinch, if you can't find this, you can use just yellow corn meal. What's the difference? The difference is, what is the fucking difference? No, I know the difference. The difference is the kernel size. I know that sounds like a scandal at KFC. The cornmeal is ground finer, and polenta cooks up with a sort of, oh man, the worst description for food is when somebody says it's toothsome. Have you ever heard someone say it's toothsome? There's a good mouth feel. It just start.
Oh God, yes.
Like easy bow. You know what I mean? Just with your food talk. Okay, so what we have here is 3 cups of. I use chicken stock for this. You can use water, veggie stock, whatever's vegan. We're using a 3-to-1 ratio here, as opposed to sometimes you'll see a 4-to-1 ratio, sometimes a 3-to-1. The difference is going to be in the thickness of, the consistency.
The mouthfeel.
The mouthfeel, the toothsomeness. Wow, our stock is already boiling. It's almost as if it was preheated. So yeah, that's happening.
Quick question. How long do these peppers sit for, by the way?
About 15, 20 minutes. So we're going to pour this in and whisk it as we do. First, we'll do a pinch of salt. Boop. You don't have to say boop.
I think you do, actually. I don't think I've ever been able to add a pinch of something without making a sound effect.
Okay, try saying boop and see if it works for you. I don't know.
Is it really in there if you didn't make a sound?
Okay, once that's whisked in, once that's whisked in, all of a sudden I can't talk and I'm on a cooking show.
That wine.
Then what you're going to want to do is reduce the heat to just a very light simmer.
Okay.
You can see how it's really gurgling.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the word for it, but it does look gurgly.
Industry term.
Yeah. So I have it on like the lowest, almost the lowest setting. It's still gurgly. I'm going to give it another whisk and then just let that gently cook.
Is there anything that you can't cook? Like you've tried and it's just like, I can't fucking deal with this. I can't do this.
I will say I get a lot of requests for very specific ethnic food. And while I can cook that, like I physically can make something that is of that description. Look, I'm from Philly. I don't want a Philly cheesesteak from anywhere else that's not Philly, and that's just a cheesesteak. Imagine if it's paella, you know what I mean? Like, and it's very has deep tradition from another country.
Anything that you refuse to cook?
Refuse to cook. No, because I am broke. No, because they when you're a private chef, it's room service, on wheels. They want what they want and they tell you, and you make it. And so most of my stuff is, even my catering company was custom catering. Like we design the menu around what you want. And we'll cater to it, you know. One time a client asked for trash can turkey for Thanksgiving, and that was a little bit like, I was like, you don't, it's going to leave a crater in your yard. This is not as cute as you think it is.
That's not a turkey you get out of a trash can, is it? Or
no. Hold on, I'll explain that in a second. Let me check. A trash can turkey is when you cook a turkey on like a spike in the yard, and you light a fire around the turkey and then put a trash can over it to create this oven effect. It's really trashy.
So like if you think that your Thanksgiving turkey might be a witch or something, you that's a little
about right. It's about right. And by the way, okay, so our garlic confit should be simmered enough. We're going to turn that off.
Turn it off?
Yeah, turn it off. And I forgot to mention, constantly stir the polenta with a whisk. So if you're watching this real time and you're doing it, sorry, you just ruined it. No, I'm kidding. You're fine. Just whisk it as you go. It's sort of like making oatmeal or something like that. And because we're using the lower ratio of, it's a 3-to-1 and not 4-to-1, because I like a nice, thick, dense polenta, I'm going to go ahead and put a lid on it once the heat is lowered to the lowest it can go. And that'll capture all that moisture, and it won't dry out because of the constant reduction. So that's our garlic confit.
Yeah.
There you go. So you can see, Kate, is yours caramely colored?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what I'm going to do to puree this garlic is I'm going to use the old immersion blender. I don't know if you have one of those, Kate, but it'd be cool.
I'm not that fancy.
Okay. So if you're poor out there, I'm just kidding. You can use a regular blender. And Kate, we're going to need the blender for the red pepper pesto anyway. So you can blend this garlic up, take it out, and the garlicky blender we can still use to make the red pepper pesto.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to like wash it or anything. We can just go from one to the other. Nice. I love recipes where you cut down on the washing or the prep time of something.
I try to create recipes around using 1 spoon and 1 bowl, if possible. Okay, so I'll do this on the stove so you can see the action. So I'm going to go ahead and puree this in the Pyrex measuring cup.
Nice.
Okay, so what you're left with is like a garlic paste with a little bit of garlic flavored oil. And if you're vegan, this is like liquid gold. This is basically a savory butter that you can put in almost anything in the world. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a heaping helping of this garlic paste, and we're going to add it to the polenta. Pour a little bit of the olive oil in there too, and then whisk that in.
Does this look about right?
Yeah, that's great.
Sweet. There we go.
That's beautiful.
Thank you, Chef.
Okay, so moving right along, I have the chef knife cam set up, okay? We have our sharpened knife here. This isn't my baby. My baby's actually in my chef kit. What you always want to do is make sure that you sort of pinch the blade and then curl your fingers and hold it that way. So it's an extension. Sorry, this is a really close-up shot, but it's an extension of the hand rather than gripping the knife like this or putting, the worst is the finger down the spine. Don't do it, people. Love yourself. Have some self-dignity. So we want this kind of grip. Okay. And then what we're going to do is pick some rosemary. So we have our rosemary sprigs here, and we're just going to slide the leaves off. What I normally do is there's usually a little like flimsy tip. And after that tip, I pull off all the leaves off the spine. And then you pick the tip off, and that's it. You got your little pile of rosemary.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, it's a little pile of rosemary. So then I sort of group it together and you got to use that claw on your left hand technique or your non-cutting hand.
Yep.
Use that claw, keep those fingers curled. Like, see that little curl there? Like that knuckle, that last knuckle is your guide. So we're going to chop that into small bits that way.
Nice.
There you go. See, look, I'm doing it. I'm actually looking at the camera instead of at my hands. So then what you can do is you can hold the back of the knife and pinch the other end and then do a little bit, chop it up a little bit there. Okay. So we're going to take this and we're going to throw this in the polenta for flavor.
Nice.
Oh, I forgot, Kate. So you did that for nothing because you don't. No, you can actually sprinkle that while we're cooking. The thing is, rosemary should be cooked. It's not one of the herbs that you can eat raw.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be cooked, but it cooks pretty fast. You can sprinkle that on your polenta as we're frying it. How's that?
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay. So the next step, we're going to take our Parmesan. I have real Parm. I know they have vegan Parm. You can try this. This is optional. You don't need this. But
I can show you the best brand of vegan Parm. I don't have much left because it's good, but Go Veggie is the best. Go
Veggie. So I'm surprised that it didn't have some sort of vegan pun.
Nope, not on this one.
I don't know how much time we have, but if we could come up with a vegan pun for Parmesan, I think that would really.
That should be the episode title. When we do that, we got to come up with
a vegan pun for Parmesan.
Pun.
Yeah, Parmesan. I don't know. Parmesan? Parmesan cheese?
It almost sounds like Farmer John, but yeah, Parmesan.
So I have here my grated Parmesan cheese. I'm going to now put this into the polenta while it's cooking, right at the very end, right before you're finished with it. So we're at that stage now where that has been simmering for about 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is take some of our garlic oil that we have in the container, and we're going to pour a little bit of the oil there. Well, that's a lot, a little bit, but I don't care. It's fine. And we're just basically going to grease this pan up. So we're going to take our rubber spatula and we are going to pour our polenta into the dish. If it cools as is, you see all the texture that's on the top of that. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a very uneven top. And that tends not to sear as well in the pan when we actually fry it, when it's finally cooled. So we're going to put the plastic on and just kind of pat it down.
Okay.
And
like if you're saving guacamole or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, when you're covering guacamole. And for guacamole, what you're trying to do is prevent oxidation. Here, all we're trying to do is create like some sort of smooth surface, the smoothest surface we can possibly do. So we're going to take this, we're going to let it sit out for 5 or 10 minutes or so to get all the heat off of it. And then once it's not super hot, we're going to put it in the fridge. What we're doing now is we're going to peel our peppers. Are you ready, Kate?
Yes, I have pepper cam set up.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take off the plastic and we're going to start peeling and de-seeding our red pepper flesh. So feel free to use gloves for this.
I will. I was just going to ask because I have some.
Okay, so you see this black stuff's just coming right off?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to sort of massage this and just swirl this.
Whoa.
Don't worry about how clean this is. We're going to give these a quick rinse and oh my God, this is like, I'm sure there's some weird pervert out there watching this and like loving it. For those people out there who actually are watching this and loving it, I don't know, do we have like a tipping situation?
We need to start an OnlyFans of just roasting red peppers.
Yeah, an OnlyFans with roasting red peppers, you'd be doing this with your feet, right? I don't know.
Oh man.
Yeah, sorry, I just tanked the show. We just went through.
You either tanked it or you got me so many more subscribers.
You got to add that in your tags, and you'll get those subscribers. Yeah. Moving on. Okay, so you can break open your pepper, and sort of like gut out the seeds and the stem.
Oh,
right?
damn. Just
And
bust
then
it open?
Yeah, just bust it right open. You'll have a lot of moisture in there. Be careful,
Oh
it
my
might
God.
be warm.
Yep. Lots of moisture.
You're gonna peel off all this. I don't know what you call those. The ribs, the pepper ribs, left over. So what I do is I just keep everything as long as you separate what you need to separate, peel what you need to peel. It can all sit in the same bowl, and then you're gonna go over to the sink and take out the fleshy parts that you want, rinse them off gently, and put them on a plate. Make sense?
I just, when I squeezed this, heard it like deflate with water, like a balloon or something.
This is kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie, Kate. This is like the most fun I've had in an afternoon in a while. And all it took was locking me in my house for a year to make this the most fun that I've had in a year. So some of the skin will be still attached where it didn't really get a lot of heat. And now you can kind of see like what that char effect does. You know, even the part where you may have thought, oh my God, this is burning, this is terrible. That's the perfect part right now.
Yep.
The parts where it wasn't burning that much, or they're the kind of like stiff parts. So
should I rinse this off in the sink now?
yeah, if you have everything peeled.
Okay.
All right, so
you
can see we have soft red fleshy bits. This is like the Halloween episode of A Funny Taste. Ideally we want as the least amount of moisture as possible.
Okay.
Otherwise you end up with a really wet pesto, and nobody loves a wet pesto. Oh, this almost looks like a real cooking show.
Right?
Good shot. Yeah. So we're gonna throw our red peppers in. So I'm gonna go ahead and open my pine nuts. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say for 2 roasted peppers, how about a handful of pine nuts? We're gonna throw in a handful of pine nuts. And then maybe a couple more. Like a handful plus 9. I don't know. Why not?
Oh, my hand is smaller than yours, so.
Plus I'm this far down on the wine, so, restrictions are being loosened. And then, even though this isn't a typical basil pesto, this is a red pepper pesto, I'm still going to throw some basil in there for flavor. So
Okay.
this is one kind of sprig of basil, we'll call it, one stem.
Okay.
From a basil package. So you just pick off all the soft leaves. It's okay if you get a little stem in there. It's flavorful and it'll get ground up, so it's not a big deal. So we're going to throw that all in there. You want to make sure it's washed. Sometimes basil's pre-washed and sometimes it's not. So what else do we need? Parmesan. Again, more Parmesan. You can use vegan parm. I'm not going to yell at you. Yeah.
How much of this? A handful?
Let's say half a handful. I don't know. 3/4 of a hand.
That's actually exactly how much vegan parm I have left. So
nice. Yeah.
Do a half a handful.
And you tell me, Kate, if I'm being too thorough with some of this stuff, because I am a food nerd. I will sit and talk about the texture of pesto for hours if you let me.
Yeah, I know. I've heard your stand-up.
Whoa, sick burns here at this is aka the burn ward. Funny Taste.
I'm gonna have to pull off all the charred skin from you after I'm done.
For the folks at home, Kate and I occasionally will roast each other in comedy roasts that we put on with Liar Comedy. So this is not uncommon for shots to be fired. I've roasted you more than I've seen you in person, which is weird. It's weird for people to do that. Salt and pepper. Can't forget that stuff, right?
Okay.
I don't know.
A little bit.
A teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
Teaspoon and a half. A little bit of freshly ground black pepper. Every pesto gets olive oil, but as you may know, we have our garlic paste that we made in olive
Oh.
oil. So we're going to use that, which I definitely have handy and have not lost on my counter. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it a nice heaping tablespoon of garlic paste on this. And then I'm going to go ahead and drizzle in all of the oil that was on top.
All of the oil?
Well, as much as that you think. You kind of want at least like 3 tablespoons of oil to start with.
Got it.
And then we'll adjust the consistency as it's blending. So that's definitely all the ingredients that I have not forgotten. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on my food processor. Sorry, I forgot. There's actually one more ingredient you can add to the red pepper pesto to enhance the flavor and the color, and that's paprika.
Oh.
And if you have smoked paprika, that's even better. So I'm going to add just a dash of smoked paprika to mine, but it's not necessary. But it will make it look red for the people that are expecting very red pesto.
Okay.
So I will say if you're using smoked paprika, be very careful not to overdo it because that smoky flavor will go a long way.
So this is how mine looks.
Mm-hmm. Do you like the consistency? Is it runny or is it thick? No, that's about right.
Yeah.
Good. What we're going to do is we're going to drizzle this over the polenta, a slice of polenta that's been pan-seared.
Okay.
Speaking of which, should we get our pan ready?
Oh, yes.
For the searing? This is my cast iron skillet, and I love it. I want to be buried with this thing.
That looks huge.
Yeah.
It's like an Acme brand, like cartoon type.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and put our heat on medium high for this. And now it's time to unveil our polenta, which is definitely cool because of the magic of TV. Hold on.
It's been so long.
I feel like when I do this, there's like going to be birds and rainbows and stars. I don't know. You figure it out. So here's my chilled polenta in its pie pan. I'm going to go ahead and take a steak knife and just cut it right in the pan, like you would a slice of pie.
Okay, so how thick should I cut my polenta?
I would say about an inch.
About an inch? Okay. It's thicker than I would have. So glad I asked.
Well, you can see this is my polenta. I don't know if you can.
Oh, okay.
Maybe an inch and a quarter, inch and an eighth, but yeah, you want it about an inch. So our pan is heating, and with a cast iron skillet, you want to heat up the pan and get it pretty hot without actually overheating the pan to the point where it goes blue, and that's when it sort of burns off its cure. So that's why we put it on medium high and just let it get nice and hot and ready to sizzle is sort of what we're looking for there. And we're just going to lightly put a little bit of olive oil in there, just a drizzle, light drizzle.
Should I start trying to do this?
I'm sorry, should you what?
Start trying to put the things in the thing?
Yeah, do you think the pan is hot enough to maybe fry an egg? Would be like the heat?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, then yeah, you should be able to go ahead and lay your pieces of polenta in. I'll do the same.
Woo!
Yeah, there you go.
How do I know when to flip them?
You want it probably about 2 minutes on each side to get it a nice brown sear and a crust.
Oh no.
That's okay. You can flip it back over and get another sear on there. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Keep
I
doing
might do that. Should I add more oil to my pan if they're sticking?
Yeah, you can. No harm in it. Oh, you see that crust? There you go. We finally got the crust. Nice. As long as you've got like a nice sear on at least one or two sides of the pieces, you're good. So the last chefy thing that I'll show you before we plate up, Kate.
Okay.
Is, I'm going to do a little bit of a garnish with the basil leaf, and this is a classic cut called the chiffonade. So we have here a stack of basil leaves, and we're going to kind of compress them and roll them up a little bit.
Like a joint.
Yeah, almost like if you were making, like if you were in some sort of Cuban sweatshop making cigars or something like that. So, and then we just take our knife and we make little slices. And with this, you want a really sharp knife, a really flat board, because if you're just pressing instead of cutting through cleanly, you're going to end up with bruised basil instead of like cleanly cut chiffonade.
Beautiful. It's like it's like that grass that you'd put in like an Easter basket or something.
Yeah. So I really like the look of this piece. I feel like we got there. How's that?
Beautiful.
So I'm going to go ahead and take a spoon and put some of my red pepper pesto on top. And then we'll do some basil chiffonade. And if you want to, you can also garnish with some more parm.
I can be douchey too.
There you go, Kate. Yours. I don't know if it's the movie magic or what, but mine looks like a rat's nest, and yours looks like it belongs in a restaurant.
That's what I was trying for.
Looks beautiful.
Look at that. 2 versions of polenta with homemade roasted red pepper sauce.
You can also finish with some of the garlic oil.
Oh, there we go. It's like this needs something else on the plate to make it even more like.
Oh, is this one of those shows where we eat the food?
It can be.
It should be, I think.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to get a fork.
Go for it. The only rule is if it sucks, you still have to act like it doesn't, because
Okay.
I actually did that on the last episode with CT. I made an avocado-based basil pesto. And I'd never made it before. It was the first time trying the recipe. And so I tried it on camera and I was like, no matter what, I'm going to say it's good, but it was really good. Like, I didn't even have to pretend.
I'm not going to lie.
How is it?
It was the best thing I've eaten all day. Yeah. It's good. I think we did something.
Oh my
here.
God. That roasted red pepper sauce is my new favorite thing.
Did you put paprika in yours?
Just a little bit of the smoked, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did. And that's what's blowing me away right now is the smoked paprika.
Wow. So crispy.
This is delicious. I would eat this.
Last question. Chef Keith Graber. I have been focusing too much today on the fact that you are a chef. I really appreciate you teaching me how to make polenta and teaching me a roasted red pepper sauce that I will definitely be, it's going to be a new staple in my kitchen, basically. My final question is actually about comedy, because we haven't really talked much about the fact that you are also an amazing stand-up comic. Sorry, this has been a different focus of the day, but I would like you to explain to our audience what the ingredients are in Keith Graber comedy. Who are your influences? What sort of styles do you like? What do you think you emulate? I know you do a lot of production. You create a lot of your own content. But give me the recipe.
Well, okay. I will start off by saying that I'm sort of a comedy Swiss Army knife. That's something that I found out about myself. I like to do a little bit of everything. I like sketch. I like improv. I like stand-up. I like writing. I like writing for late night monologue jokes, short form jokes, long bits. Storytelling is probably my least favorite. I'm sort of a new comic as well, so I'm still trying to find myself with that. And I love roasting. Can I just say that I love roasting the shit out of people?
I mean,
Is
you're a
that
chef.
bad? Like,
that makes the most sense, that roasting is the one thing that
does make
transfers
sense.
over.
And so when I first started doing roasts, I felt like for the first time in my life, like I'm a good boy for doing this. You know, like I was like successful at something that like everyone always hated about me. You know what I mean? Like, so that really drew me to comedy. I think that might have been the number one thing. That and sketch comedy drew me into the world of comedy the most.
Finding roast was like your Rudolph moment. Like, everyone used to hate me for this, and now I can save Christmas with my nose.
Totally.
So, who are your favorite other comics? Anybody that you try to model anything after, or just expressing yourself?
Here's the thing. Sally asked me the same question, and it's tough to answer that question because you're like, wait a second, who's canceled? Who's not canceled? Like, who am I allowed to say here?
Hey, I grew up in Bill Cosby, so
yeah. I will say that my first favorite comedian, like stand-up comic, as a child was Eddie Murphy. But that wasn't my first comedy influence.
Right.
Even though I'm not musically inclined. I used to play in a band, but I'm not that musically inclined. My favorite, my first comedy influence is probably Weird Al Yankovic. Love you, Weird Al. Where you at? Like, you got to watch the show. Come on.
He's vegan. I should totally get him to watch this show.
Is he? Yeah.
Okay. Keith Graber, is there anything that you would like to promote? Tell people where to find you, how to follow you, how to see all of the hilarious content that you put out.
Let me do this. Okay. We all know about Liar Comedy. Okay. Liar Comedy is our production team and our virtual comedy club where we do all of our funny stuff. But the one thing that I will also promote is this is also kind of food related. My new merch store that I just opened, it's comedy inspired. It's called Yesterday's Sushi. You can find that on Redbubble. Imagine like a Spencer's Gifts, but with less class. Or maybe a not so hot topic. You get it. Like, it's just dumb shit, dumb things that come into my mind. I'm like, that should be a t-shirt or a mug or a shitty bag that no one should carry things in, you know? So if you're looking for a gift for your mother, your father, or someone you dislike, check out Yesterday's Sushi on Redbubble.
Well, thank you so much. This is the least work I've ever had to do to prepare for a show. You wrote the whole recipe and told me what to buy, and I just followed along, and I learned a lot. I hope that people watching learned a lot. I didn't know that I could just throw whole red peppers on an open flame and forget about them.
It was my pleasure being here. This was honestly the most fun afternoon I've had in a while.
Okay, and now you have dinner.
Yeah. And one of the easiest jobs I've ever done.
Well, you were the most prepared probably of any guests that I will ever have. But thank you. This was hugely successful, and I cannot wait to eat. I'm going to turn off the camera and then devour the rest of this.
It down. That's what I'm going to do too.
So
yeah, no, it's my pleasure being here. Thanks for having me, Kate.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks. Bye.
See you guys.
On the next episode of A Funny Taste.
All right, Mary Bouquet, the first lady on A Funny Taste. What are we going to make? We got two girls in the kitchen. What are we doing?
Well, okay, two women in the kitchen. We should have wine, but it's too early. Okay, I want something healthy.
You want like veggie based kind of. Oh, I have this really good recipe for this green soup. It's a green comfort soup. It's all vegetables.
I like my soup like I like my politics. Green.
Oh, this will be great. Okay, we are going to get together in the kitchen, go get a bunch of vegetables, and then turn it into something great.
All right. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you. I'll see you there.
It'll be fun.